It's really incredible to see these rhinos in the wild, and it's a bit unnerving to see how close we're able to get to them.
I can't understand how anybody would kill these animals.
No.
And look at the size of that moon. It's a giant blight for these poachers.
The team is ready at this point. The poacher's moon is up. We're ready to get some. Now you see what you've been called to do, what you've been called to protect.
That was a scene from Animal Planet's new 3-part miniseries, Battleground Rhino Wars. Here with us now, 2 of the series co-stars, former Navy SEAL and team leader Craig Saw Sawyer, and a Green Beret medic, Oz, whose full name we will not use for security reasons since he remains on active duty. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thank you. It's a pleasure to join you.
Saw, set the backdrop of this for us. Where are we, and what is this fight about?
Well, it's in South Africa. This fight is really about saving the last of a species that's been around for 50 million years and has been pushed to the brink of extinction through sheer greed by poachers.
So how did you guys enter this story? If this is a South African story, why do we have 2 Americans entering?
Well, it is a South African story, but it's a global problem because we're all losing our rhinos. I mean, we don't have them here in the States unless they're in a zoo. So I got a call from the head of the production company, who was a commando there in South Africa himself. He's former special forces there. And now he's heavily involved in wildlife conservation. He said, hey, Saul, what do you think about standing up a team of Americans to come over and pitch in and help not only carry the fight against the poachers, but raise public awareness? We can film it, make a TV show about it. And what do you think? I said, man, I think that's a beautiful idea. Let's make it happen. So off we went.
Who are the poachers? Who are you up against?
You know, it's really a wide range of people, mostly crime syndicates who run drugs and any other thing that they can turn on a profit in the black market. So hardcore thugs, neighboring countries, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, local villagers sometimes that are being exploited to go in there and kill the rhinos, take the horn and sell it off. But the big money's being made in China and other Asian countries. The big movers are making the big money there.
So you come face to face with them, or are you mostly in protective mode?
Well, we're in protective mode, but in order to be effective, we come face to face with the poachers. We have to interdict them and find out when and where they're going to strike, and we've got to be there to stop them.
So what about your military training prepared you for this, and then what were some new things you had to learn, about wildlife? I mean...
Well, I think our military training was perfect for this. If you look at the history of what Special Operations has been asked to do for this country, it's going into bad places and dealing with austere conditions and sometimes dealing with an unknown force and figuring out and problem solving how do you fight that force. So I think that was very, very pivotal for us to be able to fall back on. We didn't know exactly what we were walking into. We had no idea the organization, the magnitude of the organization that these syndicates had. So
and they've killed park rangers as well. They're not just.
You're talking about a lot of money. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars per animal. So you're talking about 700 animals killed last year. Let's be conservative and say $250,000 per animal at 500 or 700 animals. That's a lot of money. Yeah. So yeah, they don't care who you are. They're out to kill.
700 rhinos, but also, as Lee says, more than 100 park rangers have been killed by these poachers. You guys have any tense moments out there?
We do. These guys will shoot first. These poachers will shoot first and ask questions later. There's no regard for human life or animal life. So they're armed to the teeth to get in there and take their prize and get out, and we've got to put ourselves in harm's way to stop them. So it gets a little bit like this, but we're accustomed to that. We've spent our lives, defending the defenseless, whether it be, American citizens or now the rhinos. It's really kind of the same principle.
Oz, you ready to step in and put your life out there for rhinos?
I have. We have been doing that. I think one notion that I'd like to address is that the tendency of this is a South African problem. I think that's the wrong approach. I think that's why we have this problem in the first place. These are our animals. I mean, these are everyone's animals, and we've all agreed we don't want our kids to look at rhinos in picture books or in a zoo. So I think the only way to really initiate some sort of change or resolution for the animal is to accept that and take responsibility, get ownership in that concept and say, yeah, these are our animals and this is not okay, this can't go on.
Give us a sense of the scale of this thing. So you're on the ground over there. How big an area are you talking about? What's a day like in terms of out in the field trying to do what you need to do?
Well, the Greater Kruger is the size of Switzerland, so it's a vast amount of wilderness area to cover. So we can't just go out there and patrol in defensive mode. We've got to run intelligence operations just like we would against a terrorist group and find out who moves where, how the whole thing functions, how the syndicates do what they do, and figure out when and where they're going to strike and get in there and put ourselves in position through raids, ambushes, vehicle interdictions, and get in there and stop them. Well, we don't talk about that. You'll see that in season 2.
All right, we'll be watching. Guys, we're grateful for your service to this country and now for your courage to go protect these animals. Battleground Rhino Wars airs on Animal Planet Thursdays, 9 p.m., 8 o'clock Central. Good to see you guys. Thanks.
Thank you,
so
guys.
much.
We sure appreciate being on.
Coming up next, John Brennan confirmed as CIA director only after an old-school filibuster exposes new fault lines within the Republican Party. We'll explain what's behind this picture on the cover this morning of the New York